Yeah, we'll be taking a forced break at that case.
Oh, you mean this? Yes, it is a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my daughter. Wait, what? He's a dad?
My man!
Phoenix, wait.
Is it with Maya? Did him and Maya procreate? I need to know.
Okay, first question, who's the mommy? Second question, who's the daughter?
Come again. Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed it at the time of the arrest. The picture in the locket is indeed of Mr. Wright's daughter.
Oh,
Hold on.
I thought he was joking.
So
why does he have the locket? Was Mr. Wright peeking in the window?
Did they have did Phoenix and the guy have identical lockets? Maybe. Because.
But he's a traveler. Why would he have it?
No. Here's a different thought. If like say like they are two identical lockets, maybe this Orly, noticing they both have the same locket, took that one away to make it look like Phoenix stole his, and like. But the easy way to prove that is check the locket for fingerprints, because the victim's fingerprints wouldn't be on it if it was Phoenix. Mm-hmm. If it was Phoenix's. That would be an easy way to tell.
I want to see the picture. So Mr. Wright has a locket, too. Why don't I buy that? This is just a coincidence. Well, now, if the results of this poker game led to the murder, perhaps we should hear a bit more of this outcome of the game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clear the defendant lost badly.
Wait a minute, go back to the photo.
You're talking the game photo, right?
Yeah. This was the photo after they died, right?
Yes.
Something with the seating arrangement actually weirds me out. If she was dealing...
She was a dealer, so she's where the blue cards are.
Is this her picture?
We don't know. It's not been specified.
Okay. Okay, that would matter, because if I assume the layout as it was, right, it looked like he would be sitting on the... she would be watching from a part of the room where you can't necessarily take a photo. You know what I mean?
Well, we do have the room diagram, which there is room on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
Or, oh no, they didn't give us the diagram.
Right.
But from earlier, I remember it's like, I noted there was no chair on the other side of the table from where the dealer is.
Yeah. Miss O'Reilly, will you testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant? Duh. Serious competition. All right, here we go. The game began with 3,500 points and chips for each man. House chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one that was winning, was the victim. For the last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and... Nothing jumping out. It's going to be a couple of presses, I'm thinking.
Well, they haven't really put out their chips yet. Like, they're all still close to the cards, which is where you'd normally keep them. It's like they didn't go... No one went in yet.
Yeah, but you could also just say all in and just leave your stack where it is by you before it gets rewarded, right? Because it's just
True.
It does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was a defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
Sure it was. Ah, how many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger, Your Honor, and now I regret what I done. Common tale, but true.
I did not. I don't think I hit a button there. I don't know why it continued, but whatever.
It did that to me sometimes. Trust me. He thinks when the judge is watching too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. The game began with 3,500 points chips for each man. That's normal. 2 sizes, small and large.
That doesn't say. The victim was the win rate. I want to hear more.
You're telling me that Mr. Wright, undefeated for 7 whole years, was losing. That must have been the most unlucky day for him. I'm glad I did not take other pictures of him. I would break camera, certainly. The chips, they went always to the victim's side of the table.
So you're telling us it was a one-sided game, 3-4?
Damn it. Fuck. Ah, one-sided, and... The last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. Okay. Last hand. It was largest points of any hand. The defendant's hand, it was excellent. He tried to use it to take victory from behind. Yeah, both their hands are in the picture and they're both full houses, with only one of the cards, his cards, being absolutely broken. That is truly an excellent hand, however, so is the victim's. One with the highest number wins, the defendant loses.
The victim, Mr. Smith, had a stronger hand than the defendant and crushed him. I believe that explains what occurred next.
Once cards laid on a table, it happened. The moment loss was decided, defendant grabs bottle from table and... Gotta press that. Hey, Isaac. And what happened next? Even to think of it now, I shake and tremble, da. I did not believe such thing would happen. What such thing? Please, you must believe. I had no idea. How could such thing occur? What such thing? Yeah. The defendant had been hitting victim.
Hitting, You want to give us a number that's more than 1, so we can call you a liar again?
I saw it all happen right before me.
Also, if she watched this happen, why didn't she go call the police first? Why did Phoenix call the police?
I saw a bottle coming down on victim's head.
Decisive, isn't it, Your Honor? My witness saw the very moment of the crime. Remember, your first goal is to gather information.
Yes, sir. Look out, contradiction, here comes justice. So let's see if she amended it in some way. Otherwise, we gotta press the first 2 statements. Yeah, we have to press the first 2, I think.
Oh.
Are those the usual starting points? Were there any special rule used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules. If each man began with 3,500 points, then the total would be 7k. Exactly 7,000 points.
Something doesn't seem right.
The addition seems weird, but...
So how see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 black, 7 red. There's no way to make that oh no, there's 6 red. 10 black, 6 red. So black is 100, red is 1,000 then. I'm guessing that's how it is. That does math up. If each red is 1,000, that's 6,000 there, and then we got 10 black at 100 each. That's another 1,000. So that would work. Wait a minute. By that logic,
he has less.
Phoenix is winning then. He has 4,100 then.
Whereas he has 2,900.
Hold on. Wait a minute. This was useful information.
Please, this isn't calculus. It's not even long division.
Christopher's like, now you're starting to understand now. So now we
Two
understand.
size, small and large. Yeah, that's the contradiction of that photo with.
Now that we have the information of the point total, like looking at the chips, the only way to discern the total is to call the reds 1,000 into blacks 100, and that would mean in this case Phoenix is winning. This is the only explanation. Yep. Come on! Come on!
I feel like you need to push that last statement with the big and small, and she'll give you the totals, and then you do it. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Of course. Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder?
Oh, come on.
Yes. Maybe you can explain a bit about these chips.
It's going to give us the explanation of the chips, and then it's going to let us do it. It should have let us do it regardless. Come on.
Explain? What is that to be explained?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not a chip off the old block. And it moved on before I could finish reading that.
Yeah.
Not a chip off the old block. Not a motorcycle cop. Not a...
Thanks. Now that I pressed her, I better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they dollars, rubles even? Yet, as I've been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard, perhaps, for capitalists to understand. Two types of chips, 100-point chip and 1,000-point chip. There's missing chips here.
No,
it's
there's
not money, Doc.
There's no missing chips. We counted it up. It works. Justice.
Sir?
Don't you find her comment interesting?
In more ways than one, sir.
Okay, so now it's gonna let us do it, but there has been times where like you could press on them and like gather more information and it helps you figure it out, but like there's been cases where it wasn't required. I'd have it added to her testimony myself. Okay, fine.
There we go.
Add it.
Yes.
Come on.
I don't think it deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony.
Come on. I was right. You should have given it to me, game.
Very well, witness. If you would be so kind. Your honor.
And now that we have this, we should be able to do this. But because I'm mad at this game. Come on. Wait, was it it was...
Come on. Objection! There we go.
Objection!
You sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure.
Objection! It seems our new attorney is a bit confused. A glance at a picture is enough to tell you who won. If you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you explain the problem to the court? Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh, that does not add up, sir.
Oh, I thought so too. But then the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips. And the combined total value of that chips was 7k points. Yes, my calculations are correct. 3 plus 1 carry the 5. They are, Your Honor. Now, look at this photo that allegedly shows all the chips. The big chips are worth 1,000, and the small chips are worth 100. And you add them up.
How much is it?
No,
10,600.
you aren't in kindergarten, are you?
10,600 if you count the big chips as 1,000, which is more points than what they were playing with. 10,600. That's what it was.
Don't add up.
I said 300 and I meant 600.
We know where you're going with that. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
But why? How could this be? Exactly, Justice. Now that you know the what, you must determine the why.
Right, there's only one possible way to explain this contradiction.
The starting points weren't wrong. The chip count was wrong. Both were
right. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer. Well, what is it? The value of the chips was the other way around.
What?
Want to know what I think? The small chips were worth 1,000, not the big ones.
Madness! Under madness! And also, this is something I called out right away with the chip values. Is like, is the big one more or is the small one more? That's something I called out very early. It's like, which one is more? And now it actually does matter.
Show me the photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up.
Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself.
Well, I'm glad I was the one who said it.
But wait. The value of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing. That changes everything. Count it up, thinking the small chips are 1,000. Tell me what the point totals are, sir.
Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips still. Ah. Exactly. The small chips were 1,000 points and the large chips are 100. Let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table. The victim, Mr. Smith, had 2,900 points, and he had 4,100 points. Well, now. It seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning. Now, Miss O'Reilly, you must have known the true value of the chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime. Weren't you?
I love that animation. Catch it all! Catch it all!
Order, order. It appears the defendant has lost his motive. And Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. We must now ask ourselves, Whether we can trust. It's her. Yeah. Excuse me, what is it, Miss O'Reilly? I did not want to be saying this, but... Actually, you see,
She's gonna say the victim was in the other chair, isn't she? She's gonna do it. I know it.
See,
Say what, Miss Orley? What do you see, 3-5?
in the last hand there was cheat.
Cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam? They're all the same thing. Yes, there was a cheat in the last hand. That's why the game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great.
She's trying to say that the chips were moved. But also, why would Phoenix go all in when he's winning?
You can't go all in if you're winning.
Yeah, like she was saying.
You could put someone else all in.
But she was saying Phoenix wanted to go all in for the last hand. Why would Phoenix do that? That doesn't make any sense if he's winning. Especially by the amount he's winning, too.
First we have lying, now cheating.
Well, this case certainly has taken a turn for the interesting.
Witness, you'll please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheating in the final hand. The last hand, both men had full house. True. There are 4 of each card in deck, from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. The defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand, poor Mr. Smith.
If Mr. Wright was the one cheating, why would he give himself the weaker hand?
Yep.
Huh? Oh, I clicked.
Why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning? I thought I smelled a cover up here. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers. A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make, in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrupulous tactics.
Mr. Gavin? What's a full house? Thanks, bro.
Apollo clearly does not play poker. Lawyers these days, you don't know your poker. Well, in most cases, it's a legal pain.
I can't say this bodes well for your case or career. What is this, some kind of secret court poker ring?
Justice. You know the term, 1 pair, 2 pair, and 3 of a kind, yes?
Yeah, no problem. Two cards with the same number makes a pair, and 3 makes a 3 of a kind.
Good. Now picture a hand with 1 pair and 1 3 of a kind. That's the full house.
Doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Wow, they both have full houses.
And the other thing is, both of them have all 4 aces too.
Yeah.
Like, that's very unlikely as well. But here's the thing. The only person that would have been touching the cards was her.
Is the dealer.
If she was the dealer, she'd have had a hand in the cheating. Because that cheating had to come from the deck itself.
Yep.
Unless she's gonna say like, oh, he swapped the deck. But, like, how would he know we were using a red and blue deck? We forgot.
It's
There's
called
an
dealing a
easy
bad
way to
hand.
make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Yeah, like they keep saying Phoenix is the one that cheated, but it doesn't make sense for Phoenix to be the one cheating in the losing hand side.
And she was asked to go deal as well. We did cheat in the last hand. That still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand.
Mm-hmm.
Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? The last hand, both men had full house. Just how hard is it to make a full house, anyway? It is quite hard, duh. It is making a pair and a three of a kind at the same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult to be sure. You can take my word for it as the poker hand of courtroom number 3. Very difficult, duh, but it's not impossible. Okay, full house, hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time.
But also, we also have to know, it's not just a full house, it's 2 full houses happening at the same time.
With the 4 aces.
With the 4 aces, too.
There's 4 of each card in deck from ace to king. 4 of each card, you say? Da, there is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is an interesting fact that the number 4 comes from the number of seasons. Huh, you don't say. You know the covers are numbered 1 to 13.
Not exactly. They're numbered 1 through 10, and then you got Jack, Queen, and King. Come on, Judge. I didn't let you read that.
Yeah, don't you say it's 1 day short? And add the cards in the deck, and you get 364 a year. You don't say. Isn't that 1 day short?
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. They say the second joker stands for the leap year. Thus, you have a perfect representation of the year, all in your deck of cards.
Huh, you don't say. We're gonna be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this.
Which guy are you talking about, Sonic?
If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, the game becomes argument. Da, the defendant's trick was exposed.
Wait. I didn't press that.
How was it clear? Da, well, the defendant... He played a 5th ace. No, there isn't.
There's only 4 aces here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is there any on the?
Could be that, but
Yeah, there's an ace on the floor down there, but yeah, because it's got to be an ace there.
Plus, the card backs are differently colored, so that must imply that
That
they didn't.
that would have
notice the
been
colored
easily
part.
noticed.
A 5th ace. I still remember both hands very well.
Wait,
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. No, it doesn't.
wait. I saw this earlier and I didn't think to mention it. That king is on top of everything.
Yeah.
Why is that king on top of the cards? I think an ace got replaced.
Interesting choice. They would have to go to the scene and flip it up to see if it's red.
And it's the ace of spades, and look at how they're positioned here. The ace is under the king.
There's a definite replacement there. And Mr. Bites too.
Obviously, cheating was afoot. Or perhaps I should say, at hand. Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony, without Mr. Payne's joke.
But we have the decks there without the aces, so without the 3 aces being shown. So that contradicts what she says.
That's what he wants us to be able to call out, I'm sure. Earl.
Yep. Very well, the witness will add this detail to her testimony, please. Yeah. I don't even need to read that. Just do it. Oh, you know what it is.
You never know. There could be something we don't have yet. There's like, oh, no, you can't do that yet. But yeah, there's something wrong here, madam.
It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken? But my name? Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony. That's the photo of the chips, is it not?
Justice. Perhaps you ought to explain your point in a way that the judge can comprehend, because the judge is an idiot. He completely overlooks such obvious situations. You can tell him it's right in front of his nose, and he would not see it because he is that dumb. In other words, use your finger to point out your point.
Yes, please point out the contradiction in the photo. Take that. Mr. Riley, in your testimony, you made the following claim.
We didn't even have to question. We're just like, we know. That's the problem right there.
Mr. Smith had 3 aces. But as you can clearly see, the victim's hand only held 2 aces. Eek!
Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand who held the 3rd ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's the 5th ace? I see cheating alright, it's going right here in the courtroom. Two aces in each player's hand does it make 4 ace total. Hardly proof of cheating. Wait, please. It is true, I have seen it, the 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying, if she's the most sincere I've seen all day.
You're right to trust your instincts.
Mr. Gavin?
Who knows what lies in store for us in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What might that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
The cards?
Mr. Payne. Yes? The player's hand that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? The defense would like to request to see that the cards be shown to the court.
Very well, the prosecution will submit the evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards? Victims.
Yeah, well, it could go either way, because she's saying the defendant cheated, so we look at his cards are all normal.
Yeah.
That proves our case. But like we
But
look at them.
if they're in,
Hmm.
I think either matters, right? Let's say we investigate Phoenix's hand and it turns out normal. That means there wasn't cheating because Phoenix was playing by the rules. And therefore, the motive's gone. We check his hand. We find a red card. Right? We check the victim's hand and there's a red card there. That means the victim was cheating. And that would mean that would give
And
Phoenix...
the victim cheating makes more sense because in the clips, Phoenix was winning. He would have no reason to cheat on the last hand.
Yeah.
So do we think victims then?
I say we check victims. It was a victim hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony.
That is true. That hand changed, so that something's got to be different there.
The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards. Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Time to examine.
Aha!
There it is. Why are they all red?
Card backs are red. For some reason. I thought they were using... Wait a minute. The deck set out on the table was blue. Like,
So he's cheating hard.
so the cheating was all on his side. Like, that's a that's a huge problem. Wait a minute. 4 of his cards are wrong. And it's the King of Diamonds was legit. So yeah, that's a major problem. Oh, wrong button. Ah. Yeah, because look, that's a blue That's a blue deck they're using right there.
Yep.
So
all the other cards are on the floor. Question mark, question mark.
Why are they on the floor? Nobody knows. Well, time's a wasting. Get to
How
it,
did he
Justice.
manage to hide it in front of Phoenix? That's my question. Because the color is blue.
This is you.
Yes, sir.
It's now it's forcing us to do it. When examining evidence, be sure to view it from all sides and angles. Yeah. Better perspective on the case. Gotta go through this again. What?
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 You said
What?
it. Your Honor, look at this. One of the victim's cards. The back is different color.
Ah!
That's impossible. But I put that card in right's hand.
Oh!
Olga fucked up.
What was that, Miss Orley?
Yeah, really.
4, 5.
Yeah, Millie said, I have eek.
Your Honor,
Mr. Gavin, yes?
tell me, what is the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend, a comrade, shall we say. And she was asked by the victim to come be the dealer, wasn't she? The dealer.
Wait, so you mean... The witness, Miss Aurelie.
She's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager.
Yeah.
Miss Orley,
Order.
how long have you been working at the establishment, if we may ask?
She probably owns it, to be honest. Focus us. It's time to take advantage of her. I mean, her mistake. Your Honor. Please recall the testimony we just heard. That's impossible. But I put that card in Right's hand.
So they were switched then.
The outcome of them being in the wrong chair does make sense. Ergo, Miss Olga Aurelia conspired to cheat not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shoddy Smith. Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not hard to imagine the altercation between her and the victim.
What?
Wait, you don't mean... The defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Aurelia, are you? Time for justice. There were 3 people in this room at the time of the incident. That Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means... I am. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Aurelia, of the murder. Eek. Oh, she fainted. It still landed.
It landed perfectly on the witness stand.
Mr. Payne, what is your witness, Miss Olga Aurelia?
Is that it? Is she not fighting back? Like... Huh?
Maybe it's a short case, or maybe they have to reopen it.
It appears she lost consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice. Your Honor. It seems you presented a new possibility to the court. One suggestion in connection between the witnesses and the victim, Mr. Smith. And that means... This court cannot pronounce a verdict for such a defendant at this time.
What?
I did it. I held out. I see no point in prolonging the trial this day.
Oh, are we taking an intermission on the first trial for a day? Wait, what? I thought this case wasn't supposed to be that long. Hold up.
The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
Phoenix?
Mr. Wright?
You can't end a trial here, Your Honor. Not yet. What nonsense is the defendant spewing now? Think. One of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means? What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raising objections right when you're about to get off the hook? Ridiculous. No, the judge is about to dismiss the case for the day.
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know. Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous. Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things.
Okay, so we're still going. Got it.
Yep. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night.
As we said before, we alternate between 2 decks that night. That was said before. 2 decks of the club have different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck.
Why use different colored backs?
If we use the same color, the 2 decks might get mixed.
So you used 2 different colors and they still got mixed up.
We used the red deck for the last game.
I see, but that's odd. For some reason, I have this impression that you were using the blue cards.
Same. Because the picture of the playing table had a blue card on top of the dealer's deck.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix. Which means there was cheating. Yes,
yeah, cards slipped into the deck.
4-6. Yes, a card slipped into the deck would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises two serious questions. Apollo?
Yes?
Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think. In the last game, when was the card swapped?
When?
There are three broad possibilities here. Could have been swapped before the murder, during the murder, or after the murder. I feel like it would be after. Because she'd have to be able to, like, find... So, the thing was for her to set it up so the victim would win. She failed to... Like, something failed in that regard, and she killed him as a result. And to, like, help like, get it off of her, she switched one of his cards to make it look like he had the better hand. Which is why Phoenix supposedly lost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swap... Oh? Might be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne. Or it might not be. Eh? I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped?
I'd say after.
Yeah, I feel like it's after. Perhaps it's up. that 5-6.
I think the altercation happened for a different reason entirely. Because of the locket, and the locket's more important.
Maybe.
And then the cards were just a ruse to say there was cheating at all. But then again, she clearly dealt a bad hand. I think what she said when she dealt the card to Phoenix was actually true. Right? I think that was absolutely the case. And then after, she needed to put blame on Phoenix, and then yada yada from there. Yeah.
Objection! Objection!
I never get tired of saying that.
What's that ridiculous? What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly.
Yes, but tell me. How do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Objection! Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but very little impossible.
Oh, even when the backs of the cards are a different color? Because you would notice the back. If you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time.
Quite true. That would mean that the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder. Okay, this is going past silly and straight on to crazy. I'll ask again. What's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that? The murderer. Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
There's another?
Yes, a simple yet decisive question must be asked. Who swapped the red card for a blue card?
Who?
The game and murder is done. The victim is dead. Only two remaining in the room. Alive, that is. The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley.
Okay, so who was it that saw the red card for the blue?
Had to be her. There's literally no... It can't be someone else, because we don't know of anyone else in the room. Phoenix has no reason to switch it. It has to be her.
Phoenix was upstairs calling, too, so Olga
Phoenix
really
did leave
had
the
more
room.
time.
He did leave the room, so he could have not seen it. And it would also help explain why he called 911 to report it, and she didn't. Like, why didn't she, if she saw it happen, why didn't she run out of the room and go call 911 immediately?
Why, it must have been Olga really who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up evidence of cheating. That does make some sense.
Sorry,
Oh,
there's a problem with that explanation.
there is.
Swap card was from the wrong deck.
Yes, a blue card was stuck into a red hand.
Also, I love how the red there is orange.
Was the blue one the ace or the king?
I think it was a king. Yeah, it's the one sticking up, so yeah, it's a king.
It's the king.
It's like,
King of diamonds.
yeah, and she said it was 5 aces. It's like, why is the swap card a king then? Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors. Remember that you're talking about Olga Orly. She was the dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake?
Actually, I have trouble even imagining the judge making that mistake.
Give it a little more thought, Apollo. Okay, so I guess it's Phoenix then?
It would have to either be Phoenix himself to keep crucial evidence. I could see him doing that.
Or is it
If
could it really be someone else?
it's someone else, it could include the victim himself.
It could, yeah. But they've mentioned the window. The window hasn't become relevant yet.
Yeah.
Was there someone else at the scene that we haven't heard about yet that Olga knows? It doesn't seem like it's punishing us, so we can still try them all.
Yeah,
we can go Phoenix. Well, yeah, we can try someone else first. Because like Phoenix swapping the cards makes no sense.
The swap cards wasn't Mr. Right, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga, really, either. What are you suggesting?
That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As a defense, I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Orly at this point.
Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe she would make the mistake of swapping the wrong colored card. And if the card was swapped during the game, it'd be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking of how much fun all this is. Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If the one who swapped the card wasn't a defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orly, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that is the question, isn't it?
Precisely. So Phoenix doesn't know?
Huh.
I believe we're about to see the case take a new direction.
All guided by Phoenix himself, too.
So there's another person we haven't heard from yet.
I do believe there was a third person I claimed a while back, too. Because if the body was moved, right, like you said, I still don't think it was moved. Right? There still has to be a third person looking in on cards and whatnot. Because that would be the use of that room.
We'll find that, indeed, after the murder.
I was cueing you.
Sure. Someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand. And that someone made 2 critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell us that the first was swapping the wrong color. Because the one who did the card swap didn't know the two colors of the cards being used. Are they colorblind? Or did they just not look at the cards? The other mistake was the number on the cards.
Right. Person replaced the 5th ace with a king.
I'm sure whoever swapped it was expecting there to be a 5th ace after all. All they knew was the game had been won with a full house. So it picked a king from the table and swapped it in. But there's one problem. According to our case record, this person doesn't exist. True, not until now. But you have to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there that night at the scene of the crime. Phoenix, why did you say it sooner? What? I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials. Ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
This trial is proceeded on one central assumption. Namely, that at the time of the incident, there were only 3 people in that room. There are 3 chairs.
Yeah, there's only 3 chairs in there. But there was 4 people present.
Oh, he has new evidence. Hold up.
I believe this new evidence shall we say, overturns that assumption.
The problem is that you chose to conceal this information from the court.
I suppose that is a problem, yeah.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess. I would also like to grab water. Mr. Gavin, I'll see you in my chambers during this recess.
Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes. I have a Culligan water. Just give me a second.
So yes, there is 2 parts to this trial. Either we're going really slow, or that guide I was looking up, it just went super fast, and we're way off on the times for how long these trials are going to take. April 20th, 11:52 a.m., District Court Defendant Lobby number 3. That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well now, I'd think you would know the answer to that. Wait. Is Phoenix implying that Christopher's the one that was there? Because he said you... Say, I'd think you would know the answer to that. What is Phoenix implying here? Ah, being mysterious, are we? Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I'd only ask that you leave the defending to your defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't
There's a
mellowed.
past relationship here.
Yeah, I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christopher. Justice.
Yes, sir?
The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright?
Ah, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. That's a picture of my daughter in there.
Interesting. I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter.
Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days.
Oh, maybe is that girl he adopted?
Maybe?
Way back in the DLC. Remember, she was the one staying at his office and whatnot with the hat. And...
Are you talking about Emma?
Yeah,
No,
the investigator. No,
that's definitely not Emma.
okay. I'm double checking because.
If you watch the trailer for this game, you can clearly see Emma in the trailer. So.
Okay, fair enough. I've never. I had the head up my butt the entire time, man. I know shit all.
I watched the trailers. That's it. But the trailers didn't really reveal any plot. So.
I knew this game was coming, and I didn't. It didn't go any further. The one who cheated that night, was it you?
What do you think? You know what happened 7 years ago? What I did? It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat. What happened 7 years ago?
We have an incident post-game. I never honest, but... It is odd he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years.
Want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker.
Eh?
Bluffing. You bluff him the back to concede the hand even though like you don't have good cards. See, poker is all about reading your opponent. In that way, it's a lot like a court case.
Poker is like trial law?
Figure out what your opponent is thinking, and you win.
Oh yeah, but that's harder than it sounds.
I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information.
You're kidding.
That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her neck at certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Yeah, she did scratch the back of her head a bunch.
Yep. No. Come on, who'd notice that?
Animations in this game always are relevant in some way. Like, they always call Phoenix out for his cold sweat animations, so come on. Words, habit, twitches, it's all information for the reader. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me, and now I pass the secret on to you.
But I'm not worthy. I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals.
No, you can do it.
Huh?
You just don't know it yet.
What are you talking about?
But you will, soon. Ah, almost forgot. One more thing. About this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet. Uh-oh.
What the hell, Phoenix? What? I knew it.
I have my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power.
My, power? I had no idea my Cords of Steel would be that special. Yeah, it's the Cords of Steel, definitely.
It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best.
Well, that's part 1.